All right, so I want to do a real quick video because I just listened to, a few hours ago, I listened to The Fall Off by J. Cole, and I just want to give my synopsis on it. So it's not going to be a lyrical breakdown video. This is more so my reaction to it and what I'm noticing from the sounds. And also, I would consider him not a predecessor, but I would consider him the sound of what I'm about to label him in a minute. So, with that being said, if I can give a sound for the album, a complete sound for the album, right, the soundscape, I would say this is Southern boom bap. So what I mean by that is, you know how you have boom bap beats, not necessarily the drums, but the samples that they use. Like they do use a lot of soul samples, or they use maybe like some other eclectic types, like a little soft rock or some gypsy or some type of melodic sample where it's not out of the usual, but it just fit that song. Like you'll see something like that with Madlib, you'll see something like that with Flying Lotus, even though I wouldn't consider Flying Lotus hip hop at boom bap. I consider Flying Lotus hip hop though, but I don't consider him boom bap. I consider him more so like trip hop. Again, that's another video. But I consider J. Cole Southern boom bap, where you have those melodic instrumentals, right? But then the Southern comes in when you have the drums. And the drums and the beats, how the beats are constructed, those were Southern beats. So again, he had throughout the music, he had like soulful harmonies, right? Definitely some great melodic samples and some great them 808s. I like some of the songs that had 808s in it, like that. It just remind me of just growing up in Atlanta, just growing up, down the street. You about to hear some bass in somebody's car just down the street. Inside your house, you hear the music from somebody else's car inside your house. But yeah, that's what it reminds me of. So I get the sense like it shows like what it was being raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So it probably had a similar culture to Georgia, South Carolina, right? It's the South. You're gonna get what you're gonna get in the South. And with that said, so really I would say that's the whole overarching sound is Southern boom bap. Man, he does a great job of that. I haven't had really any other mainstream artist to really do that. And that's kind of cool. And he really made his own lane with that. And he's been that type of artist for a long time, but just now him just stamping it, and even though I'm just stamping it for him, he is what Southern boom bap is. But also some other sounds, right? Speaking of Southern, right? There was some sounds on here, or some songs on here that sounded like it could have been made from the Dungeon family, right? Or from Earth Tones. Not necessarily not Organized Noise, but Earth Tones. That's a little, y'all go look that up. Y'all look up who Earth Tones is. Yeah. But saying all that said, it definitely gave Outkast vibes. It felt like Aquemini or AT Aliens. Not so much on Stank On You and Speaker Box Love Below. That's just, for me, those two albums, those are two of my favorite albums, just because that's where I grew up in. A lot of times, well, I grew up on all of it, but that's where like I really started paying attention to Outkast. Other than me being 4 or 3, singing Elevators. Cause that was my song as a little taller, but but yeah. But it gave off those two elements. But again, Outkast has been an influence for J. Cole throughout most of his career. Like, again, who you listen to in the South other than what? Scarface, UGK. You go to Memphis, 3 6 Mafia, but I think MJG and 8 Ball are from Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not, just drop what they're from in the comments. But yeah, Jeezy, just I like, who you really listen to? You ain't listening to all them. Like, are you really from the South, right? Are you really in hip hop from the South? You ain't listen to those people. But anyway, but also, so really, I would say the Outkast vibes, they don't come in until disc 2, or the B side, right? Also, I could say the B side or the second disc was a little more melodic, a little more pop, which it was cool. It was more like a little alternative rock, and in a sense of just like, how can I say it? Like, not folkish. It could be seen as that. I don't necessarily have the song in particular, but if you look on the second list, it's one of like I think either one of the middle songs or definitely towards the end. But yeah, it was I don't like that. It was cool seeing something different that we haven't heard, especially in hip hop in a long time. I would technically say, nobody want to say this, but I would technically say Post Malone is that person to do that, because if you listen to his songs, pretty much they're all rock songs. All of them are rock songs. They just turn into hip hop, or how they just labeled it hip hop. But he was always a rock person. But that's again another video. We're talking about J. Cole right now. And let's get to the content. Now, I'm not doing a lyrical breakdown, but I can get to how I felt about the content. So, again, he's from Fayetteville, North Carolina. He called it DeVille, right? So, with that, he's going to talk about, people around him, the people he grew up with. He talks about perspectives from other people, right? Which he's done this in every album. In every album he's done it. And he will just continue to do that, because again, that's the space he's always been in, right? So I wouldn't say no new stories per se, other than like, he loved his wife, right? He had a few songs on there where he loved his wife, right? He loves hip hop, he loves his kids. So that was pretty cool, and it's his art. So really, it boils down to, like, I don't hate him for it. I mean, he came out sounding pretty good. It wasn't like really no cheap, cheap marketing ploys, really. Like, he just had his music. Now, did he address the beef? Mildly, but do we really need him to address the beef? I don't know. I think he should be far away from the beef, and far away from far away from any talks about like being the best, right? But especially when he's trying to be competitive in hip hop and whatnot. But honestly, I think he did a great job for his final album. Now, with that, I don't know. Like, if this is final solo album, that would be great. But if he decides to have, something up with his sleeve, to where, he doing something with Kendrick, or they just happen to do a Black Hippie album, and then J. Cole is, like an unofficial member of Black Hippie, that would be cool. I'm down for that. I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for that since 2012, 2013. I've been waiting for that jump. We ain't never got it, man. But other than that, I enjoy the album. I hope you guys enjoy the album. And if you haven't listened to the album, listen to it. Marinate with it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do, you do. But for me, I'm definitely going to save this to my playlist. But other than that, thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and watch out for more videos.